Hey guys, welcome back to 215 Sports Podcast with Adrian Glover, the host, talking, and Tyler Illusion across from me.
What's going on, everyone?
On this Friday, the Eagles were able to get to 7-2 with a victory on Monday Night Football against the Packers. Was a very, very bad game, I'd say for myself, on Monday night. Battle of defenses, for sure, which the Eagles did reign supreme. But they escaped Green Bay. It was ugly, and it raises a lot of questions coming into a game against another NFC North opponent, another tough opponent, Detroit Lions.
Yeah. And one thing about the Green Bay thing, well, not really the Green Bay thing, but just about Green Bay, I wonder if the fact that they were playing outdoors for the first time in 30-degree weather
it was
any type of difference.
29 degrees in Green Bay. So that obviously makes a difference because the Eagles, that's the lowest temperature game that they played in all year, and it honestly could stay that way.
Yeah, and
the entire year.
It's not when you see guys slipping and sliding all over the field, which I'm not sure if you noticed that while you were watching.
I did watch that. Saquon was slipping and sliding.
Yeah, people were having problems with their traction.
Mailata slipped and Saquon fell on top of him.
Yeah,
which means he couldn't get any yards.
I mean, I guess that's just because
the
field was so cold that you couldn't
maybe it was so cold it was laying off it was maybe damp from.
Well, not that. It's just when
freezing.
It gets the ground gets cold and it gets really hard to penetrate. Maybe that was maybe someone's cleat didn't fully get stuck in the ground.
I don't know if they use turf there.
Yeah, I think they use natural grass, but I'm not entirely too sure. I'm pretty sure it's natural grass, but if you got natural grass, obviously that's going to be a lot more susceptible to the conditions than AstroTurf or turf. You got little pellets that are easy to plant your foot into as opposed to frozen solid ground.
Which is probably one of the key reasons that the Eagles couldn't really get anything going on the run game.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with both offenses struggling in this game.
Yeah, only 60 yards on 20 carries for Saquon.
Yeah, same with Jacobs. He had 21 for only 70.
Josh Jacobs didn't even have that good of a game yet. Neither offenses performed.
Yeah, both offenses were very... They seemed very just... I don't want to say not prepared, but they weren't really expecting the defense from the other side, I think, to be as great as it was.
I mean, you think the Eagles
game
would have came into this all right, the Packers are a very good defense. They just added someone in Michael Parsons. They have a really good secondary. You think they would study them a little bit more, but they looks like they came out silly.
Well, the one thing that's troubling is the fact that they had 15 days to prepare for it, and the offense still looked as bad as it did.
They mustered 10 points coming off bye week.
You had 15 days of rest. You had 15 days to get a game plan together. But what I will say is, at least it did seem like in the beginning, they did have a plan, because that first drive was great up until Hurts fumbled the ball. Yeah,
and they did
16-play drive.
16 play. They wasted a ton of clock.
Yeah, a whole 8.5 minutes of clock.
Because on the Packers' first drive, that was a pretty long one too.
Yeah,
wasted a lot of clock as well.
By the time the Eagles finished their first drive, it was already the second quarter, wasn't it?
It seemed like it. Yeah. There was only a couple of seconds left in the first quarter when Hurts ended up fumbling on that run.
Yeah. And then I don't even think they got the ball back to... Did they get the ball back in the first quarter?
Well, they ended up... No.
I think
quarter, because the Packers ended up punting.
So yeah, both teams' first drives ended up taking up basically half of the first quarter. Or both of their first drives took up the entirety of the first quarter together, which is kind of crazy in itself. And I guess that could also be contributed as to why the game was so low scoring. The fact that you had a sustained drive that took 9 minutes off the clock, and yet you didn't get anything from it.
You didn't get any points. You have drives that are taking up 6-7 minutes of play clock just to punt.
Yeah, so
that's almost half a quarter.
That was a quick game.
Driving and you're punting.
I remember I went to the bathroom during halftime, and then I came out of the bathroom, and it was kickoff, and I looked at the clock, like, in my kitchen as I was passing by, and I was like, holy crap, is it really only 9:50 something right now? It's not even 10 o'clock, and the second half's already started.
Usually they last longer because then after every drive there's a commercial.
Yeah,
and then
or
you have those
something.
long drives or you have timeouts and stuff. But it was a really fast first half.
Yeah,
and it
very
took
fast.
It took the Eagles 6 minutes into the third quarter to finally get on the board with a Jake Elliott field goal.
And I mean, it's not like that drive was really great in itself either. I mean, they got that was what, a 5-play drive or a 6-play drive, I think. They got one first down and,
they did,
and that was it.
I believe that drive was
On the
from
fumble, right?
a turnover.
Yeah,
yes,
from the forced fumble.
Because there was 2 fumbles.
Yeah. You had the one fumble that Jordan Love did, and I think that was the fumble that they ended up getting the field goal off of, correct?
Yeah, and then you had the fumble late into the fourth quarter with Josh Jacobs on 4th and 1.
Right. So, luckily, they were able to force those turnovers, because if you don't get that short field there, it could have been 7-7 very easily.
Yeah,
and then you're going into overtime.
7-3, even.
Yeah.
Who knows if McManus makes that field goal at the end? It could be 10-10. You're going,
dude. I wasn't like mad. I was just kind of like, what are they doing? When McManus had that free attempt to try from 64 yards that didn't count,
and then I was so confused on that too.
So what happened was Sirianni called the timeout. And then, like 2 to 3 seconds after the whistles blow,
McManus
kicks it.
Yeah,
and like everyone on the Eagles sideline was like, "Whoa, that should be like a penalty. Like, how come he gets just like a free kick?"
Yeah,
and Matt LaFleur got to see, oh wow, this is too far for McManus. He's not going to hit it. So he ended up sending his offense back out onto the field to try to get like an extra 3 to 4 yards, and then send McManus back out.
And then Jordan Love didn't get anything, just threw it away. And I was worried. I was worried if McManus was going to tie it, because with the stuff with kickers this year and the balls, the guy from Jacksonville has now the career,
68.
Yeah, the new career long. The kicker from Tampa hit from 65 against us in week 4. So I was worried, like, is McManus actually going to drill this from 64?
Now
and then thank God he shanked it. I was like, I got up. I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Well, when they kept making the point on the broadcast that he was coming off of a quad injury, I was like, is he really actually gonna make this from 64?
They said quad injury, and that's usually a time where it's like he might jinx this.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way.
He's nailing this right down the middle overtime.
And honestly, that first kick that didn't count looked pretty good. It looked like it was on. It just was maybe a couple of feet short from...
And then the second kick was just...
Yeah, second kick, he just shanked
absolutely terrible, yeah.
But the fact that he was even able to get that first kick off, and then the Packers were able to, like, pull their team, like, pull the kicking team off and put the offense back on, I think that is a really, really severe problem that needs to be addressed. Because what if he doesn't, he takes that kick, he doesn't make it. What if they get the completion to move up 4 yards, and then he's got 2 seconds left, and then he kicks a 60-yarder and they win the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
or what if they get a Hail Mary off?
Like, I'm pretty sure me and you and everyone in the Philadelphia area would be sitting there going like, whoa, why did he get a practice kick to find out that he wasn't going to make it from 64? To be able to then go, oh, well, now I'm going to make the informed decision now that I know that my guy can't make it from 64 to send the offense back out.
Yeah, which was a ridiculous call, by the way, too. That was terrible.
Like,
the officiating, once again, was terrible.
And I think whoever the guy that they have on, like Blandino, right? That's the ref guy that they usually have, Dean Blandino, right? I think they had him, like, try to explain it, and he was like, well, it's the job of the official to go over and collect the ball so that, the kicker doesn't get a free thing. Well, he didn't do his job. So what's the reprimandation?
Yeah, the referee didn't do anything.
So what's the reprimandation? You could have potentially costed the Eagles a win by the fact that your refs didn't do what their job was. And there's nothing, no repercussion. I haven't heard anything about it since the end of that game because there was no consequence.
No, because the Packers lost.
Right.
There was 2 tush pushes in that game. Both of them were offsides by a long shot. The first one was done by the Packers, and you can clearly see that the guy is offside.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one by the Eagles where Dickerson moves like a whole second and a half before they call the snap. And
There were a couple of times where I felt like during the snapping motion that I saw, even like not on tush-push plays, I just felt like there were a couple of times where I saw offensive linemen getting off before the ball was snapped and there were no flags thrown. And I'm
I don't know what it is. Like, why? How can you not tell the offensive line is jumping or
like,
moving?
I can see this from the TV, dude. Like,
you see this from the TV,
how do you not see it?
which is like, we'll say the TV is maybe like 20 feet away from me. So the TV's 20 feet away from me on the couch, and the referee is about 20 feet away from the player. I mean, you'd be able to see a more clear image of the player moving than it is on the 1080p TV.
And I mean, the dude that's standing right behind the quarterback should have a great view of when that ball is snapped as compared to where everyone else moves on the line. Like, if you're standing behind the quarterback, you know exactly when that ball is moving. That's what you're looking for. So the fact that you're not able to pick up that someone else moved before the ball did, that can't be something that's a blame placed on the Eagles. What, you want the Eagles to officiate the game too? You want them to play? You want them to call plays, run plays, and officiate? Like, no, that's not their job.
Does the referee or the umpire or the line judge, do they have like a earpiece in where it's just like feeding them FanDuel information? Like, hey, don't call this play. We need the over on 1.5 tush pushes.
The money from the public all came in on the over for the point total for this game. So let's make sure that we keep it under, no matter what. Like,
let's make sure we don't call flags, tush pushes, and pass interferences.
And all this stuff about the officiating, I mean, to act like it only happens in Eagles games is extremely naive. The officials are bad across the board. I guarantee you, if you go and look at other teams, you will also see guys moving before the ball is snapped and no calls are being made. Now, for some reason, everyone just likes to notice that when it's the Eagles because of the tush push.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yet they don't say anything about it when everyone else does it.
Everyone pins it on the Eagles because the tush push has become so popular with them and they're so successful at it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to take the blame onto the Eagles. Imagine if a team like the Browns did the tush push. 4 out of like the 5 offensive linemen jump off sides, and then they would still say, I'm blaming it on the Eagles.
And it's just so stupid because since when in, sports did we just completely forget that there are other teams and there are other people involved with the game than the actual players on the team that are playing it? There's a lot more that goes into a game than just the players that are on the field. I mean, you got the officiating, you got the coaches, you got fans that are acting crazy, you got doctors, medical officials, security. Like, there's a lot of different moving pieces that are going on when you're down there on that field. And for someone to just think that the Eagles are the only team that's taking advantage of the fact that the refs can't see everything is very, very misguided, in my opinion. Because there are always teams that are going to take advantage of whatever they can whenever the refs give them the opportunity to. How many times have we seen a game where in the beginning of the game, the cornerbacks or the wide receivers are getting testy with each other to see what gets called for later in the game?
See that a lot.
Exactly. It happens all the time, yet no one vilifies them for doing that when it's clearly a penalty or an illegal thing that they're doing.
All they call is the tush push.
Yeah, so all this, miss me with all the tush push stuff. I understand that it might not be something that the NFL wants, but up until there's rules in place to take it out, you just have to suck it up and live with it.
I mean,
that's just the way it is.
I have a grand feeling that it's going to get banned. This off season,
but it's not banned right now.
It's not banned right now.
So can everyone just shut up about it?
I'm sure that the Eagles are probably going to abuse it as much as they can, knowing that they probably know it's probably going to get banned.
And here's the thing: every other team would do the same exact thing if they could run it just like the Eagles would. Every single other team would take advantage of whatever the rules let them to take advantage of if the team allows it. You know what I mean? If there was some unstoppable play where no matter what you did, let's say it wasn't for the Eagles. Let's say it was a team like Miami. Remember when Miami first had the Wildcat and they scored all like the league had no idea how to defend against the Wildcat formation. They were very successful in running the Wildcat, having the, running back snap the ball, having 2 running backs lined up beside the quarterback, not knowing who's going to take the snap. It took the league a little while for them to adjust and figure out how to properly defend it. That didn't mean that people just outright banned the Wildcat because they were like, oh, this team's being too successful with this formation. That means that it must be an unfair advantage and we got to, no.
That's what people think about the tush push.
It just means that defenses need time to prepare for it.
And that's what it needs for a tush push. People say that the tush push is too overpowered because the Eagles know how to execute it well. That's because we know how to execute it well.
And it's not that.
Teams and defenses don't know how to stop the tush push because they don't train for it.
Plus, the Eagles have the personnel to actually run it, where other teams don't have the personnel to run it.
We have some of the best offensive linemen in the entire NFL. It's just a matter of fact it's going to get banned because every single time an offensive lineman jumps offside.
Well, but you're going to see that with any short yardage play.
You're going to see that with every single short yardage play, and it's always seen on TV and on the Jumbotron and on social media and all that. And they're still going to end up banning it just because, they're going to say, it's too powerful for the Eagles. No other team can do it. Everyone jumps off sides.
For everyone that says that, I just want them to take a good look on Sunday morning when there's the NFL game in Madrid. I want everyone to look in short yardage situations, and you will find people that are getting off the ball before the ball is snapped. It is not just the Eagles out there, ladies and gentlemen.
It happens to everybody.
It's every single team.
But they love putting the blame on the Eagles for the tush push.
That's just really, naive, in my opinion. It's childish, almost, to think that it's only happening to the Eagles and no other team in the league is taking advantage of this too. Really, guys? You do realize we're all grown adults here.
Yeah, you would think a team would take advantage of it.
Yeah, if you're at your job and you figure out there's a shortcut in order to do something quicker, you're going to do it.
Do you remember?
No matter whether or not it's technically part of company policy or whatever, if there's a shortcut for you to do it and do it more efficiently, you're going to take that shortcut.
Do you remember the torpedo bats?
Yeah.
That's a good example right there. The Yankees were using the torpedo bats, and they hit, 9 home runs in a game? Why doesn't other teams start using the torpedo bats? It gives them a better advantage and helps them to make better contact.
Yeah, I mean, with...
what are they going to do, ban the torpedo bat because the Yankees know how to hit home runs? They have the best freaking American League MVP, Aaron Judge, 50-plus home runs a season.
Well, they can't ban it technically because it's within the guidelines of the rules.
It's a legal bat, obviously.
It's within the guidelines of the rules. So unless they want to completely change the way that the rules are stated, your bat can be. The
commissioner came out and said something we need to change these rules of bats.
Right.
And everyone has used a wiffle ball bat.
Right. But notice how after the Yankees caught on with that, you noticed other players on other teams started to use that bat as well. They started to use the torpedo bat. They didn't sit there and go, how Yankees use the torpedo bat? They need to be banned. Well, no, that's not what happened. What happened was, there's something that's new that we can all use to better our game, then we're all going to use it.
But when it comes to the Eagles and the tush push, everyone's like, we can't do it because we don't want to improve our team. We don't want to get our quarterback into the end zone faster.
Yeah, and
it's just a bunch of nonsense and BS.
And plus, there are other teams that are jealous of the fact that they just don't have the personnel to be able to run the play. Not every team has a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that can squat 450 freaking pounds.
And same with Saquon.
Not every team has that type of player that's just available to them. And because they don't, they're like, oh, well, it's unfair that you have the personnel to be able to do. No, it's not. I drafted my team. Did you draft your team? I put my team together. I didn't do anything illegal in putting my team together. I put my team together in legal ways, and these are the strengths of my team. If I'm not going to use the strengths of my team, then I'm the dummy. Let me put it to people this way. When you see the tush push being ran by the Eagles so successfully, if there were another coach that were to come in here and to stop calling the tush push, wouldn't we all get on that coach and be like, why aren't you running the most successful play that's in your freaking playbook?
What if Kellen Moore ended up stop calling the tush push. Actually, no, Kevin Moore is not a good example. What if Kevin Patullo just like, all right, we're going to stop calling the tush push just because it was Kellen Moore's idea and
Right.
I
And
didn't like it.
how
The whole
long before
world
the
would-
broadcasters would jump on Kellen Moore, would jump on Kevin
Everyone
Patullo
would jump on Kevin Patullo.
and being like, oh, well, he's not using his players effectively. He should be doing this because it works for them.
yeah,
Like,
he's not using the most effective play that the Eagles have in their playbook.
exactly. So either
Besides
way you
that-
look at it, people are going to just have a problem with this play. It seems like no matter what the actual outcome of the play is, who's running it, or how effective it is. It's just that they just don't like the play because there's 20 other teams in the league that don't have the actual possibility to run this play successfully. And because of that, it's hated and vilified by the rest of the league. If every single team had a quarterback that could squat 400 pounds, I guarantee you wouldn't be hearing this nonsense. You would, because everyone would have the personnel to be able to have this play be an advantage for them. So people don't think, I feel like, when they don't think in a more complex way, and they just take things on the surface just because that's how the national people tend to present things to you. On a national scale, when they're talking about the Eagles, they're not getting in depth about the Eagles. You know, when you're watching Fox pregame, they're not sitting there going on the same level of depth that you get from Michael Barkham and Amy Fadul and Brandon Brooks on Eagles pregame. No, because they're more focused on the whole national
They have
thing.
to be biased
Exactly.
for every single team.
So it's just when people get all caught up in what the national pundits say and they just listen to whatever they say because they're the national ones, so they have to be the best at their job because they're national. Also, everyone out there, that's not how it is. There are some people that are very, very good at their job that are local that don't want to go national because they don't want to have to hide their fandom for their favorite team.
They like staying local.
Right. Would anyone sit there and say that Michael Barkham is not as good of an analyst as Howie Long? No, he's freaking fantastic.
He's fantastic. He does all the sports.
And he would have if he was on the national stage, he would do fantastic. But he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to go out and follow all these other teams. He just wants to follow the local teams. He wants to follow the Phillies, the Eagles, the Flyers, the Sixers. He doesn't want to follow everyone else. He's not interested in that.
He only cares about the Eagles, and that's what we like about him.
Exactly. It's because I feel like a lot of people like to compare the local guy to the national guy, and they go, oh, well, the local guy must not know as much as what he's talking about, because if he did, he would be national. And that's just also not correct thinking.
More about the Eagles than the national guy does, and he knows more about the opponent than the national guy.
Exactly, because he's more focused on who the opponent is.
Two teams and not
32.
Yep.
So for people that are out there that just take whatever the national people say, I really strongly implore you to take news from outside of just the national media outlets, and you'll get more information that you're actually looking for that can help you get to a conclusion, as opposed to a lot of confusion that you get with the national broadcast, because the national stuff is all just based off of how the public feels in the moment. You know, no one is going to sit there and talk about how great Matthew Stafford is on a national standpoint if he just got into a car accident and, you know, it was all his fault that he got a DUI. No one's going to sit there and be like, oh, well, Matthew Stafford is so great. He's such a great quarterback. No, the national thing is going to switch to, wow, how did this great quarterback get himself into this scenario where he was drinking and driving and now he calls a blah, 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 blah. And how does that affect his legacy? Like, people just got to stop thinking in such a sense where it's like, oh, well, these national guys, they just must have all the answers. Because I think that's wrong.
When it's more local.
Yeah.
I agree with the local. But back to the game.
We got sidetracked a little bit by Tush Push.
We did get sidetracked. but we got to talk about Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, because he had a fantastic game.
First game as an Eagle, 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, 2 QB hits, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. So, I mean, the best thing that ever happened to his life was coming to the Eagles, and clearly the game showed.
It showed.
Freaking best game of his career. Eagles needed that so bad. And look what happened. Fantastic game.
And it couldn't have come at a better time when both defenses are playing at their best, that the guy that you trade for just happens to be one of the top 3 players on your stellar defense in the first game that he's out there. If that doesn't inspire confidence in the new guys that are coming in, then I don't know what will. Like, if you don't see that performance from Jalen Phillips and go, wow, this team is so significantly better with him as opposed to without him, then I don't know what you're seeing.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're seeing. Because he was fantastic. And
the whole defense was fantastic.
I know that there were people that were out there that were like, oh, how could we give up a 3rd-round pick? A 3rd-round pick is too much, blah, blah, blah.
3rd-round pick is not too much for a player of that caliber.
No. And for everyone that's worried about the pick, right? I just want to state out there, y'all do realize if Jalen Phillips plays well enough to the point where he prices himself out of Philadelphia and he can't get re-signed, the Eagles get a compensatory draft pick for losing him. And guess how far that can go to? The 3rd round, depending upon how much money he gets paid. So if he shows out...
They could get a 3rd-round pick and Jalen Phillips and a 3rd-round pick.
Exactly. If he shows out, then...
You know how good Howie Roseman is in drafting players in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round.
And when he seems to trade picks away, he always gets them back.
He always gets them back, or he gets at least very good value in return.
So for all the people that are like, oh, the 3rd-round selection, it's so important. Well, if Jalen Phillips plays well enough, you're either going to re-sign him, so that 3rd-round selection might not be as big of a deal, or he's going to play so well, he's going to get priced out, and you're either going to get a 3rd or a 4th-round pick as compensation.
And when you talk about Howie Roseman and his drafting skills, it's like you always want to see, like, the 1st-round pick obviously is going to be the most exciting, but you want to see those picks in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and those later rounds because he knows that he can find some really good players that are in the rough, and he's able to...
There's been a lot of players that they've
fantastic players that he's been selected in the late rounds. Like Jalex Hunt was a 3rd-round pick.
Yep. Ojomo was a
7th-round pick.
I know that there's other... Reed Blankenship was undrafted.
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
So he knows how to find players in the rough like that.
Yeah. I mean, Tank Bigsby, guy he traded for, that was a guy that was, I believe, a 3rd or a 4th-round selection. I mean, there's someone else on the Ogo, he's hurt right now.
Ogo Okonkwo?
Yeah, he was like a 6th-round selection. And, like, he was starting for you at some point during the season before he got hurt. Like, he's capable of getting these low picks and getting some very decent value out of it.
And getting value, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Trot Jr. was what? A 5th-round pick?
4th-round pick, yeah. N'Kobe Dean, a 3rd-round pick, had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
A sack, a tackle for a loss, and a fumble.
So
Bond, who was a 4th-round pick or something from like the Saints, had 8 tackles and led the team that night.
And I'm pretty sure C.J. Gardner-Johnson wasn't a high pick either, was he? He wasn't a 1st-rounder or a 2nd-rounder.
Gardner-Johnson, yeah, something like that.
He was like a 3rd or a 4th-rounder back when the Saints drafted him. He didn't get drafted in the 1st round. So just because, you're giving up a 3rd-round pick does not mean that you're now incapable of finding anyone else beyond that 3rd-round pick. There's still plenty of good players as long as you scout.
And they could get a 3rd-round pick back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Plus, the Eagles' player development has produced enough players from lower selections at this point where you got to be willing to just put a little bit of faith in them, I feel like, right? They've earned that from us at this point, Like, when you have guys that come in and perform and are starters on your team that were taken in round 4, 5, 6, 7, that shows you develop the player after you draft him.
That shows that you can develop a really good player.
Right, like Jordan Mailata is a 7th-round pick.
You don't really see 7th-round picks starting in the league, 6th and 7th-round picks. It's usually 1st, 2nd, and 3rd-round picks that are starting.
A 6th and a 7th might be a guy that's rotated in every now and again.
A guy that's rotated or a guy
pieces.
That's on the practice squad.
Right. Not starters. And the Eagles have at least 3 guys that are starters on their team that are 7th-round selection. You got Mailata, you got Ojomo, and Okonkwo, who was a 6th-round selection.
And in the first rounders on offense is Devontae, Lane Johnson, And then if you want to count,
I think AJ Brown was drafted.
If
in
you
the
want to
first round,
count
right?
Saquon and AJ Brown, yeah, but they were drafted from different teams.
Right, but I mean, we're counting the guys that are drafted from different teams that
Yeah,
were
pretty much.
lower
The
as
Eagles
well. So
drafts picks in the first round, offensive wise, are only Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson. So
And regardless of where the pick is, the Eagles just have shown that they have a very good eye for identifying talent. Very good eye for identifying talent. By the fact that you brought in Zach Bond, who was a guy that was a special teamer, and he's now a starting middle linebacker
all pro.
for your team and is probably a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. Like, the fact that you were able to pick that out and identify that from a guy that only had tape of basically special teams play shows me you guys got an eye for talent. And that if you have your eyes set on someone, I'm not going to sit there and question you because you've given me enough data to show me, hey, your thinking is probably more correct than mine is. So I'm just going to trust what you have to give to me at this point. And I feel like every Eagles fan kind of has to give the coaching staff and the front office that same grace.
Yeah, and I feel like they do give the coaching staff and the front office a ton of grace. But one thing I want to switch to now. Oh, first of all, I just want to give a round of applause to Jalen Phillips, and hopefully that continues against Detroit, because that's not going to be an easy game.
No, and they're going to need him.
You're not going to be able to go into this game versus Detroit and score 10 points. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, you have superstar-powered offense. You would think the way that A.J. Brown is speaking about himself right now, that the Eagles are 2-7 and dead last in the NFC East. No one's in the stadium. They're losing games by 35.
He's definitely making it out to be a lot
definitely making it
worse
out,
than it is.
This is a Super Bowl caliber offense, defense, team in general, and they need to do more than score measly 10 points against the Detroit Lions, because the Lions have an okay defense. They do give up a lot of points. And then
Well, the thing about the Lions is their pass rush. The pass rush, if you let the pass rush dominate the game, their defense is going to dominate the game.
Because they have superstars like Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, and it's not just him. I'm pretty sure they've got like 4 or 5 guys on that defensive line that all have 4 or 5 sacks.
They have a fantastic defensive line.
Yeah, and the fact that they're just able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback and get pressure consistently makes the entire rest of the defense better.
And if the offensive line continues to get injured, like if Dickerson goes down again or Lane Johnson goes down, if we're stuck with Toth, Fred Johnson, Tyler Steen, like Hurts is going to be running for his life out there.
Toth has been all right the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, Toth has been fine, but obviously you want Jurgens out there.
But I'm just saying, it's not like
like
Jalen was running around for his life against the Packers, was he?
I mean, a little bit, getting chased by Parsons a little.
Yeah, but Parsons was never lined up on Toth. He wasn't lined up opposite the center.
But I feel like most of the time Hurts was getting chased. It was particularly from Michael Parsons.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. Michael Parsons is one of
the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, and they all like to use the term game wrecker. He really is.
He knows the Eagles a lot because he's played them various times on the Cowboys.
I mean, he's played them, 8 times? Because this is his 5th year in the league.
It's his 5th year, so 8 times.
8 times already.
He's seen Hurts all those years because he's been the starter. So obviously he knows the Eagles and their game plan.
Plus, it's not like the offensive line has changed too much over those seasons. You've had a couple of...
Yeah, it's not like it's a brand new offensive line.
Right, so you're familiar with what they try to do to try to stop you from getting to the quarterback, which I imagine after so many amount of time seeing, that more plays into the defensive end's hand than the offensive.
That's probably why Parsons had a better advantage. But
yeah, and I'm sure that he was sharing some of that information with other people on the team as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like the Eagles are going to have to go out there and score points. Like what I said, the Lions, their defense can give up a decent amount of points at sometimes, but their offense can back it up. When you have guys like Jahmyr Gibbs and Ross St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, they have a really good offensive line. So if their offense is able to, drive down the field and score points quickly, and the Eagles do their little 2 runs to Saquon and then maybe like a 1-yard throw to Goddard or Calcaterra, I mean, they're not going to be able to get any points. And if the Lions just keep on scoring, this game's going to be a blowout.
And also, I gotta say this as well. If A.J. Brown is only targeted 2 times on the opening drive and not targeted again until the last throw of the game, you're probably not going to win this game.
They're not going to win this game. They're going to have to.
You need to get A.J. Brown.
They're going to have to
involved.
target A.J. Brown more. He's their number 1 receiver. And I get it. Devontae Smith has been
fantastic.
Yeah, he clearly the wide receiver 1 right now.
And
with the way he's playing. But they're going to have to get to Brown more. I don't know who's going to cover him, Terrion Arnold or whoever else they have. But if they're going to double cover him, I don't know what they're going to do. But you got to start targeting him more. You know, you just can't be throwing a 4-yard slant to him and calling it a day.
Well, he's making how much money to be the 50th overall in receiving yards this season? Like, really?
He's making a lot more money than both of us combined.
And he's making more money than all 3 of these players combined, probably by like $10 million. Kayshon Boutte, Kendrick Bourne, and Trey Tucker. Those are 3 names of guys that are ahead of him in receiving yards so far this season. One of them is a guy that hasn't played in 2 weeks in Kendrick Bourne. The other guy is a guy that also has not played in 2 weeks in Kayshon Boutte. He sat out the game last night with the Patriots, and I'm pretty sure he missed the previous game too. And Trey Tucker, who's on the horrible Las Vegas Raiders offense.
Because I have him in fantasy. He's been out a couple of games.
Yeah, but like yet he's still higher in receiving yards, even though he's missed games. A.J. Brown hasn't missed any games. Yet all these guys have
A.J. Brown
games.
has missed 1 game.
Okay,
against the
he
Giants.
did miss the 1 game. But still, these are not guys that you're expecting to hear have better numbers than A.J. Brown. Really, Trey Tucker, the guy that is on the Las Vegas Raiders offense that can't seem to throw a single goddamn completion.
With Geno Smith as the quarterback.
And he's got more receiving yards than A.J. Brown. Just think about that.
Yeah, I understand AJ's bitching.
Like, that is asinine.
Because the team is very focused on like winning. I hear a lot of them say like Hurts and Saquon like, yeah, we don't give a shit about fantasy football or stats. We don't stat pad or anything like that. They're just out there to win.
Right.
And I understand that. And what is A.J. Brown's purpose out there? To get into the end zone. What happens when you get into the end zone? You score a touchdown, you get points. What happens when you have more points than the other team? You win.
But he's not getting opportunities.
He's not getting an opportunity because...
And here's the thing. If you're A.J. Brown, you want to feel like you're contributing to this team's success.
With the way they're playing, they're 7-2. You think he'd be a key contributor.
But he's not.
He's not.
And that probably rubs him the wrong way. And I can understand
Which
that.
allows him to lash out frustration.
Yeah.
When he's supposed to be the main guy getting the catches, and every single time Dallas Goedert's getting a 3-yard pass, like,
right? And
what do you do? What is the offensive coordinator snorting lines of coke before the game, saying we're just going to call the same 3 plays on offense, and hopefully we don't have to punt?
And like, dude, when it's the 4th quarter and A.J. Brown has only got 2 receptions for how many yards did he have against the
13
Packers?
yards.
13. That is why. Just why?
Like, you know it's bad when Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are calling different plays without telling the Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo
To try to get him involved.
Yeah,
like
that's how bad it is.
And it's not really like... It's not like A.J. Brown is a scrub. He's one of the best wide receivers in football.
He's one of the best wide receivers in football. He's up there with names like Puka Nacua,
Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, like A.J. Brown is probably in that same top 5 category with all 4 of those guys, and yet his numbers do not even closely reflect
and 2 weeks
that.
He's going to start getting compared to Walmart Humphrey.
Yeah, like, I wonder if Lil Jordan Humphrey has more catches on the season.
No, he doesn't.
A.J. Brown.
He just got signed on the Broncos practice squad. I saw a tweet on it.
Oh my goodness, but the fact that we're even making that joke in itself is a problem. There's no reason why Lil Jordan Humphrey and A.J. Brown should even be mentioned in the same sentence together, even if it's a joke.
Walmart Humphrey and A.J. and Walmart Brown at this point.
There's no reason why we should be comparing the two of them. And yet, here we are, and we're able to probably compare their numbers. And I would assume that A.J. Brown is better. His numbers are better, but they're probably not better by that much. Like, Lil Jordan Humphrey in that one game against the Eagles had what, like 6 catches, 76 yards or something like that?
Lil Jordan Humphrey has 4 receptions this season.
Oh, yeah,
So
4. Okay.
Yeah, so A.J. Brown is 31, so he does beat the reception battle.
What's the yardage looking like for Lil Jordan Humphrey?
55.
55. I wonder, has A.J. Yeah, A.J. Brown's gotten 55 in a game
A.J.
so far,
Brown's
right?
got 55 in a game, yeah.
Yeah.
Against the Vikings, he got 120.
Okay,
Against
yeah.
the Rams, he got 100. At the Giants, he got 80.
So it's not like
But
he's
these numbers are inconsistent
Yeah.
all year.
been extremely
28,
inconsistent.
27, 7, 43, 13, 2 receptions, 2 receptions, 1 reception, 5 receptions, 6 receptions. Like,
If he's getting 2 or less, or like 3 or less than that a game, that is just complete
that's
mismanagement
blasphemy.
by the offense.
Mismanagement,
Yeah,
blasphemy.
yeah, complete mismanagement
Brain
and blasphemy
shattering.
by the offense right there. Like, I don't know who
Butt
you
scratching.
place the blame on. I feel like the blame has to go all around.
Blame has to go on the coaches, I feel like, because the coaches are the ones that are calling the plays. And when you're sitting there, Hurts and Brown, calling a different play that the coordinator is telling you to do, it just shows like that something's wrong with the coaches. That he's like, man,
I also blame Jalen, though, because Jalen has come out and said multiple times, not anything about AJ, but he's come out and said that he's more, he doesn't like to take the big risks.
yeah, because
He's a more conservative type of player.
It's the conservative that they're
And
showing
It's not
against
just
these teams.
right.
But it's like, you're being conservative when Dallas Goedert is the leading receiver. What's so conservative about a 3-yard catch every single time you're supposed to be driving down the field with a minute left?
Well, that is conservative.
It's conservative.
That's
But they need to take some goddamn risks.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, Hurts has a very good 16-to-1 touchdown to INT ratio. But
and that's because of how he plays
how he
so
plays.
conservative.
But if it's a crucial spot where they need to get immediate points and Brown's getting double covered in the end zone and Hurts has time to throw it, I assume he needs to go for Brown because A.J. Brown is that good that he would probably be able to get
I
catch
agree.
a pass and double coverage for a touchdown.
I agree. It's just that Jalen doesn't seem to have that same confidence because he doesn't throw him the ball in those situations. You know, like, and I don't know if that is by play design or if that is on Jalen. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Because I don't know if if Jalen's listening to the coordinator all that time or whatever.
And I know that he does have a little bit of autonomy to change plays at the line of scrimmage, but, you know, like when he is changing those plays, is he trying to get A.J. Brown involved when he's changing stuff at the line of scrimmage, or was that just a one-off thing at the end of the game last week?
I don't know. That might become like a new thing where
Right.
if there could be a play like if Hurts just calls a play in the huddle like, all right, AJ, the coordinator told me to do this, but now we're gonna do this, so you're gonna get open, and then I got you touchdown.
Now, I do think the reason why they ran the specific play they did at the end of the game was because they ran that play previously in the season and it worked. Remember A.J. Brown's catch? It was like a 3rd and 8 against the Rams.
It was
right?
against Minnesota,
Or-
right?
Yeah, Minnesota.
It was against Minnesota. Yeah.
Where he catches that like 48-yard pass and he toe taps and then he just goes down.
Yeah, they were thinking they could probably replicate that versus
Right.
Green Bay. Well, it didn't look well organized.
No, and I think that the reason maybe is because Jalen may have thought there was a blitz coming when there wasn't one. Because that's the
I
reason
could
why
see
he
that,
was
yeah.
able to beat.
If it's
The
fourth,
Vikings
I could
on
see
that.
4th down.
Yeah, you're thinking there's a blitz coming because the 4th and 8, they're going to try to get on top of me.
Michael Parsons is coming at you like a freight train.
Right. So logically, it does make sense of, oh, well, they're going to be, you know, coming straight after me. There's going to be less guys in the secondary. I can just throw this ball up and have A.J. Brown fall underneath it and go catch it. Because that's kind of how it worked in the Minnesota game. And I assume that Jalen was of a similar thinking mindset that they were going to be blitzing him and it was going to be like a
there's
zero
definitely,
blitz.
I definitely think that too. They might honestly even do that against the Lions as well.
Yeah,
Where it could be like a 4th and 4.
right. And they might be like, hey, they're going to blitz, so let's take a shot here.
What if it's 4th and 4 at the 50-yard line? Maybe, Hurts just lobs one up to A.J. Brown. What if he gets, 20 yards? Even then, you're at the 30. Even if you don't get into the end zone, you're in
field goal range.
You're in
at that
field goal
point.
range. That's definitely doable for Jake Elliott.
Now, I'm not sitting here trying to defend the play because I still think that it was very stupid that they even went for it on fourth down.
I think it was stupid too.
There was 36 seconds left in the game?
Yeah.
Just punt the ball away,
could have
dude.
taken the delay of game, go back
just punt the
5
ball.
yards, punt the ball, and they're maybe at the 5 to 10 yard line?
Yeah, they're at their 50. They're at their 20.
Yeah.
Like, if you kick it out the back of the end zone, at worst, they're at the 20-yard line.
The Packers are going to drive down the field with 30 seconds left with no timeouts?
Yeah. Like, so that whole thing kind of confused me. I don't think that it was a smart play by any stretch of the imagination. I do understand why they chose that play in that moment. I just don't think it was smart.
I don't think it was smart either.
Yeah.
But the only thing that we can say is that they came out with the win.
Yeah.
But it's not going to... If they play like this against the Lions, they are not winning. And everyone should know that. From the fan base to the coaches to everybody.
If the defense plays like that again, they might.
If the defense does, but what if the offense can't score any points?
Well,
what if it's 0-0 into the fourth quarter this time instead of halftime?
You have a good point. But you would expect if the defense is able to play like that again, then this team should be able to at least score enough points, like 14 or 20, just to be able to get them the win, or at least you would hope. It's not like
you would hope, but I feel they need to come out. The offense needs to be coming out on all 4 cylinders if they're going to have the entire offensive line back, because everyone is practicing.
Yep.
The receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the quarterback. If the offense is full cylinder, everyone on the roster today is practicing and healthy.
You're expecting
them better performance.
Yeah.
But if we see the same bullshit from last week, they're not going to win this game. And it's not going to get any easier, I don't feel like. Actually, they play Dallas after.
Mm-hmm. They play Dallas.
Dallas and then Chicago. But Chicago, I feel like Chicago could be like a tough game too, but at the same time, I feel like the Bears, they just scraped out wins against bad defenses like the Giants and the Bengals. We should be able to hold the Bears in check.
The Bears have kind of eked out wins in the same way that the Eagles have this season.
They've eked out wins, but
they've barely clung on,
They've barely clung on, and against bad defenses like the Giants.
So
they ended up allowing the Bengals to score 40-plus points. The Bengals, with old Joe Flacco running things at quarterback.
I think that the Bears are this year's version of the Vikings last year. They're the NFC's paper tiger so far this season. They're a team that maybe is on the up, that hasn't really played many good competition, so they've been able to stack up wins and make their record, make them look better than what they truly are. You know what I mean? So even though they're what, like 8-2?
They're 6-3.
Okay, 6-3.
So their wins who have they beat? Raiders, Giants, Bengals. Those are 3
bad
terrible teams. Who else have they beat?
Even when the Bengals have Burrow, they're not necessarily a great team.
Cowboys. The Cowboys aren't a good team.
No.
Did they beat Washington?
These are all 500 to sub 500 teams, So I'm not worried about the Chicago Bears.
No.
But
and same with Dallas. I'm not worried about Dallas at all.
Yeah. But you would think that with Detroit coming in here, that hopefully the Eagles offense will look a little bit better. If they do have everyone back and healthy, as long as Jurgens is going to play and you got the full strength, you would expect a much better performance than what you saw last week. And one thing I will say is I think that Jalen Hurts' fumble got into his head a little bit last week. The fact that he fumbled on the first drive, I think may have influenced how conservative they were the entire rest of the game. He
should have just shook it off and just realized, all right, it's only the first quarter. We still have 75% of the game left to play.
I agree.
No score. The defense is playing good. We can get out there and be a little bit more aggressive.
I agree. I'm just saying, from Jalen's perspective, he's probably sitting there thinking, we just had a 16-play drive, 8.5 minutes shoot up, and we didn't get anything because I turned the ball over. I can't turn the ball over again this game and have that happen again.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So I feel like there was a lot of contributing factors that went into the offense not looking as good as it should, and I think that had a big deal to do with it too.
I think Hurts should that one thing Hurts should just have done is just let it slide.
Yeah, you wish that he would play more freely. You wish that he would play with a little bit more of that reckless abandonment. It's just that's not the type of guy that Jalen is.
It's not, but we'll have to see against this Lions defense. We'll see. We'll finally test Hurts's freeness with a full, healthy offense.
And this one will be Sunday night. Probably one of the biggest and the most anticipated matches of the year for the Eagles.
Could be an NFC Championship game. Who knows?
So, looking forward to it, man.
But on to basketball. Sixers have gone 2-1 since we last recorded. They've beat the Toronto Raptors. And they beat the Boston Celtics, both in pretty close games.
The hated Boston Celtics.
They are 2-1 against Boston this season.
Hell yeah.
And they ended up losing to the Pistons in between those two wins. Tyrese Maxey still looks phenomenal. Still the leading scorer in the NBA. 31 against Toronto, 33 in Detroit, 22 against Boston.
And I mean, he's just been fantastic basically throughout every facet of the game. I mean, I've seen him come up with blocks. I've seen him come up with steals. I've seen him have good passing. The only thing that I don't really see him doing is rebounding too much. But are you really expecting your 6'1" guy to be a rebounder on your team? Probably not.
You should not be having him as like a full five-tool player.
No, but he's been phenomenal.
That's what your 7'2" center
is supposed
to be doing. But that's what a sore knee now from Joel. Opposite knee.
Yeah, that's
season.
the thing that is really troubling.
Haunting. That's opposite knee he got surgery on. Now it's sore.
It's overcompensating. You know, when one appendage goes down, the other appendage has to work harder to make up for that lack of strength. And that's usually how these types of injuries happen. Like, there was a really interesting... I'm going to break away for a little bit here. I'm going to keep it quick, though. There was a really interesting, like, sports science thing that I saw, I think, last year. And the target of it was Christian Watson, because he gets hurt a decent amount of times.
Yeah, and he's recovering right now from torn ACL.
Right. So, one of the things that they were going over was something about your muscle strength on both sides of your body, right? And what they found out was Christian Watson's left calf is 20% smaller or like 20% shorter than his right calf. And because of that, his right calf kept getting hurt because of the fact that the left calf couldn't keep up. Does that make sense?
That's interesting. That's
odd. His calf muscle on his right leg is 20% larger than his calf muscle on his left leg.
That is quite
So
odd.
For his explosiveness, he was completely and solely relying on that right leg.
And
so
now,
after so many times, it's now burnt out.
It's burnt out, and that's what led to the ACL.
Right.
You think that's the same thing that's with Joel?
Potentially,
like,
yeah.
The knee could just be so worn out.
And they've said it's a degenerative knee condition. So if it's a degenerative knee condition, he's losing percentage of muscle mass and all that stuff around that knee. That means the other knee now has to make up for the fact that this one can't support all that weight anymore. This one doesn't have the same explosiveness that the other leg does. So now the other leg has to work twice as hard to make up for the inefficient leg. And I think that may be something that's happening here with Joel. So I told you I was going to go off, but I kept
You
kept
kept
it fast.
it a little
and
short.
That's
fine. That's fine. But it's fascinating.
Yeah, and that I'm not saying that 100% is what's going on here. I just wonder to myself, that might have something to do with it.
Could be a leading factor.
Yeah.
As to Joel's problems, because he's currently uncertain for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
What if he has to take another extended period of time again where he has to sit out for 20 to 30 games again?
And I mean, what if it's just the thing that happened last year where there's no structural damage, but for some reason the swelling just won't go down? Because that's what happened last year.
Then he's going to have to get surgery. Who knows? Like, what if they honestly send him to medical retirement.
I mean, that's a possibility.
It's a real possibility.
And it's a possibility for not just the fact that he now has this other leg issue that he's dealing with.
So now that's both legs in the same exact year.
And at what point is a 7'2" guy just going to be like, yo, my legs can't do this anymore? Like, I want to be able to walk when I'm 50 years old.
Yeah, like, he doesn't want to end up like Ronnie Coleman.
Like, he doesn't want to end up in a wheelchair or some shit. Like, I mean, we can sit here and criticize whatever we want to. I don't think anyone would want to sit there and put their legs on the line if it meant that in 15 years you can't walk again.
Yeah, especially just to get bounced in the second round like always.
Like, there's no guarantee that he would even win anything if he were to stay on and have his legs take all this beating that they do. So I wouldn't blame him if he came out and was like, guys, this is just too much for me to deal with at this point. Like, I have swelling in my left knee. I've got swelling in my right knee. It literally hurts for me to walk, let alone run and play basketball. At a certain point, the human element does come into it. And it's like, at what point am I just going to be done with all this pain? You know,
it's
like,
concerning.
Athletes can only grit it out so much.
Yeah, you can't.
Like,
it's not like he's a robot.
Right. It's not like he's got no emotions. I mean, he feels pain just like everyone else does. And
what are they going to give him? AI generated legs?
They're gonna 3D print him a new leg, and they're just gonna attach it on there with a strap and just be like, "All right, Joel, go on out there." But even with Joel out, the team does still look pretty good in his absence.
They're still winning because obviously
they're still 7-4.
You have the excellence of Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
You got VJ Edgecombe providing some really good defense. Quentin Grimes being a significant factor off of the bench.
Kelly Oubre's kind of been like a Swiss Army knife for you a little bit. He's been scoring, rebounding.
Bona and Drummond still getting it.
And Bona looks like he is, when they run that really fast offense, Bona can keep up with it. He's got a lot more athleticism than I thought he did. I kind of like it when he's out there on the floor as opposed to Andre Drummond. I don't know if you feel the same way.
You also got like more key players like Edwards.
Oh yeah,
Justin Edwards, Watford. Who else is?
Watford's been playing good.
Watford, Jabari Walker,
and Quentin Grimes has been extremely efficient with the shots that he has taken. Like, over the past 3 games, the 3 games that we're really breaking down, he's shooting 56 from the field and 46 from 3. That's phenomenal.
That's 50% from 3 points.
Basically,
mid-range right there.
Like,
that's insane.
That's phenomenal. And you're getting that from a guy that is your 6th man coming off the bench. Like
I thought he was going to have like a little decline because he waited so long for a deal. He never got one. He took the qualifying offer.
I mean, he obviously kept his body in great shape. He kept his
body. And he did keep his body in shape. Looked really good.
Yeah.
In the preseason, and now just comes out even looking really better. And if he keeps this up, he'll definitely be getting that contract that he's been asking for.
Oh yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be with the Sixers.
No, with all the bullshit that they have to pay and stuff, there's no way.
No.
Unless.
So enjoy Quentin Grimes while you can, ladies and gentlemen, because he's not going to be here probably next year. There's no way that they're going
to be able to retain him.
And although we haven't seen, McCain come back or Paul George come back yet, what they have right now is really good. And
yeah, right now McCain is currently in
Delaware, right?
Yeah, Delaware.
Yeah, he's doing a rehab thing with the Bluecoats right now.
Yeah, which is good. And then they said Paul George is in like the latter stage of his recovery, so he'll probably be back. I'll assume maybe like
December.
Yeah, like November, early December.
Yeah, and McCain might even be back as early as next week. McCain might be back
because he was getting minutes even in like the games against Toronto and Chicago and stuff. He just wasn't getting any like points and stuff down, so they're just letting him go to AAA to work on his skills and score.
Well, plus for him just to get reacclimated.
Exactly. Just to get more reacclimated too.
Because remember, this is a guy that hasn't played basketball in 10 months now.
Yeah, so it's hard. Especially
he's going to be a little rusty,
especially even with all the physical therapy he's had to do and stuff.
Oh yeah, so I'm not really concerned about it. I think that he'll be fine. He's probably going to play 2, maybe 3 games for the Bluecoats before he comes back up here. So I would expect to have him up probably by next week.
Next week, yeah. Against games against Pistons, Clippers, Raptors. Oh, Clippers, you get to see Harden.
And then when this team's at full strength and you got McCain and you got Paul George and you're able
maybe
to,
Joel.
Do a little bit more versatility with some things because you have more players available, then this team, in theory, should get even better. And even though Paul George didn't have a great season last year, this was a guy that we were all very happy about when he originally signed here with the Sixers, right? I mean, I think I was one of the guys that was kind of like iffy on it.
Oh, no, I was not happy when he signed the contract.
But there were a lot of guys that were happy.
There were a lot of Sixers fans that were happy, but
Right.
me and you, we weren't really the happiest.
We were ahead of the curve on that one, where we were like, dude, are we really happy about signing a 34-year-old to a max contract?
Yeah, max contract. That
he's not gonna end his contract until he's 38. Like, is that really what we're getting really excited about here? But you do expect them to be better when he does step out onto the court. So hopefully their record will get even better than 7-4.
Hopefully they get out of the power play and get back to full strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Flyers have lost their last 2 games to
Didn't look great either.
Canada teams, Ottawa and Edmonton. And they should have beat Edmonton, and Owen Tippett was offside.
Yep.
Just chilling offside, beach chair and umbrella on the ice. And I think it was Travis Konechny who scored that goal with 23 seconds left, and then they called it for
Yep,
offside.
they disallowed it.
The game went to the 3-on-3, and about a minute in, Edmonton just immediately drove down the field and scored. No, not the field, the ice.
Mm-hmm. And even though their record is still not like a bad record by any means, you are starting to see some
You're starting to see
some cracks,
some problems.
Yeah, that you didn't really see the first couple of games of the season that you're now starting to see. And I don't know if you heard Rick Tockett's comment that he came out and said, I believe it was after the Ottawa game. He said in an interview that the Flyers right now are just playing the easy ice. And that they're not.
That's not a good thing to say at all.
That's not a ringing endorsement from your coach.
The easy ice, like
they're only interested in playing the easy ice.
You don't tell the media that the Flyers are playing soft and conservative. Like,
yeah, that's basically what he said.
Yeah, it's basically saying like, oh, the Flyers are playing like the Eagles.
They're like, basically he said, no one on this team is tough enough right now, and it's like, whoa, dude.
Which kind of, which I feel like would.
That would definitely rub some people the wrong way within the locker room.
The wrong way. It wouldn't boost morale.
No, and
I'm just trying to think of a word that's like the opposite of boost.
I mean, decline.
Yeah, I guess decline the morale.
Like it's not exactly something that you want to hear from your coach, especially like 8 games into the season.
It's not something you tell your players. Yeah, early into the season.
So
especially with people that have had slow starts like Matvei Mishkov.
Yeah, who. I mean, he's in a sophomore season. You hear all the time.
You hear it all the time, sophomore slump.
Rest of the league is able to adjust, and they got a full year of tape on you now. It's not just the NFL that has it. It's every other league, too. So it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're baseball, hockey, whatever. Once people got tape on you, they're going to start to figure you out. And right now, he's having a hard time being able to adjust to the other team's adjustments. Did that make sense when I said that?
Yeah, I mean, that'll slide.
Okay. Like he needs to figure out some way to counteract how defenses are now prepared for him. That's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, more so. One person who has done that has been Trevor Zegras, who has been lights out of the gate for the Flyers.
Yeah, 16 points in 16 games.
16 points. Really good in the shootouts, which the Flyers are pretty much the shootout.
Notoriously in.
Flyers are the shootout merchants. I'm surprised that the games even go to overtime, just take it straight to the shootout.
And Trevor Zegras has definitely been a nice infusion that you needed to see into this team. And he's gotten them a lot of point production. But his defense has not really been great. I know that he's not a defenseman.
He's not a defenseman, yeah. He's a forward.
You still want to at least get some defense out of him, and you would expect that him having 16 points in 16 games, he would have a positive plus minus. He actually has a negative. He's a -2
because of the defense.
because of the fact that he doesn't really give the team a whole lot defensively. It's basically a 5-on-4 while he's out there. And if you're playing in a 5-on-4 for multiple stretches of the game, you're not going to win.
That's power plays right there.
Exactly. That's power plays, essentially, even though you have a fifth guy on the ice. So if his defense is able to just improve marginally, then you're going to start to see this team look a lot better by the fact that, hey, it's no longer a 5-on-4 on defense.
It's like the guy that gets
Zegras is
chosen
on the-
last to play. It's like the guy that gets chosen always last in either football or street hockey or whatever because he's so bad. It's like, it's basically just a 3-on-5, 4-on-3 or a 5-on-4 because he doesn't contribute anything to the team.
Or like when you're a pitcher and you see Johan Rojas is going to be in